I want to talk about the last half of merge sort, which is the merge algorithm. And that's where we take two sorted arrays and we put them together to form an array that is both of them still in sorted order. So what would happen is we would have a variable that tracks where we are in each array. And then what happens is we compare the numbers at those two spots and we see which one's smaller. So in this case, 0 would be smaller. And that would mean that this pointer would then move on. Now we compare the things that is at those spots, and 1 is still smaller, so we're going to move that, and then we move this on. So now we compare 2 and 3, and 2 is smaller, and then we move this one on. And now 3 is smaller, and we move this one on. And 4 is smaller, and we move the dog on. And 5 is smaller, and we move the dog on. And 6 is smaller, we move the badger. And 7 is smaller, we move the dog. And then 8 is smaller, and then we've reached the end of the array. So what happens is all of the remaining of other array gets copied over. And that is how you would merge together two arrays. This process requires you to go through each array once to make this one array. So it is an order n algorithm. It takes one loop to build this. Another way I've seen merge sort explained is to have two arrays in sorted order, like so, and then they kind of pull the things at the end of the array out. So the one that's smaller, in this case, is 0, so it gets pulled out, and everything else clunks down. And then the one that's smaller is the 1, so it gets pulled out, and everything else clunks down. And then 2 is smaller, and then we clunk down. And then the 3 is smaller, and it clunks down. And then the 4, and then once you get to the end of one array, everything else in the other array gets transferred over. And that's how merge would work. I want to show you how the merge sort algorithm works. So what happens first is we would have two sorted arrays. So you can see here we have two sorted arrays. And then we assign a variable to track the beginning of each of the array. So then what would happen is we would compare the things at the two variable spots. So we would compare 0 and 1. And because 0 is smaller, what we're going to do is we're going to put 0 into our new sorted array, and then we're going to move the pointer on to the next location. Then what happens is we're going to compare those two things. And then the thing that is smaller gets placed in the new array, and we move the pointer on. Then we compare the two things at the two pointers, and then we put the thing that is smaller into the new merged array, and we move the pointer on. Then we compare the two things. We put the thing that is smaller in the new merged array and move the pointer on. We compare the two things, put the thing that is smaller in the new merged array, and when we were at this condition that one of the arrays is completely finished, we just copy over everything from the other array. And that's how merge works. It's going to be an n order algorithm because we have to put n things out. So it's just one loop that can do this.